everyone, this is Herrick bringing you another episode of Action Figure This Out. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Hasbro G.I. Joe Classified Series Storm Shadow figure number 35. Now I picked this guy up off of Facebook Marketplace along with Snake Eyes, the 02 version, and I've been looking forward to getting this version of Storm Shadow for quite a while, so I'm really glad that I picked him up. Before we get started, let's just take a quick look at the packaging. On the front, you're going to see the figure through the window, along with all his accessories. He has 2 scabbards connected to a quiver, a hood, a bow, an arrow, and 2 swords. It says G.I. Joe Classified Series at the bottom, and underneath that it says Storm Shadow. On the side here, you're going to see the number for this figure. That's number 35, and it says Storm Shadow over here. On the back, you're going to see a movie poster-like picture of all the Joes fighting the Cobras, with Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow duking it out in the middle. So this is a really nice picture. I like it a lot. On the side here, you're going to see a continuation of the picture on the front, as you can see. At the top, it has the number for this figure, number 35, and for anybody who needs it, here's the barcode at the bottom of the box. Perfect. So let's action figure this out and take a look at this figure out of the packaging. Born Tomisaburo Tommy Arashikage, he is the cousin of Kimi Arashikage, Jinx, and the nephew of the Hardmaster, head of the Arashikage clan of ninja. He once trained with Snake Eyes and has had a bitter rivalry with him. So, right away, we're going to take a look at the height of this figure. So, in inches, Storm Shadow stands at roughly around 6 1/4 inches, which roughly equates to something of around a little under 16 centimeters tall. So, I'm just going to start off by saying this figure is absolutely amazing. This is the definitive version of Storm Shadow that we've been waiting for. And as a new G.I. Joe collector, I am super glad to have him. He comes with quite a few accessories that you can attach to him. He has 2 scabbards and a quiver, a bow that you can attach to that, 2 swords with snake handles. So if you look really close, you can see that there's snake heads on the tip of his pommels. So that's a nice little detail there. And he comes with an arrow that you can have him holding. And then he comes with a hood that you can put on him. Because right now on the figure, there's the hood that's down right now. If you take a look, the hood is down. So you can put this hood on him. And he also comes with a sash over here, which you can attach to him. So we're just going to attach to him right now. I'm just going to attach it to him right now. So there's a little ball over here, as you can see. So you just put it on him like that. And you can have it just flowing in the wind or however you like it. So that's nice. So, this initially comes with a hood piece that's down around his neck, like I said before, so you can put this one on. But I'm going to have him with his hood down. This figure comes loaded with accessories. Now, this is the definitive version of Storm Shadow that we need in any G.I. Joe collection. The only other version that would be best for our collection would be the retro-carded Storm Shadow, but I don't think that version's out on the market yet. So I'll definitely keep an eye out for that version when it comes out in stores. But for now, this is the Storm Shadow that I need in my collection. He is really detailed. If you take a look, he has some seams on his face mask that look nice, and he has a visor in front of his mouth. Okay, he has a little cobra symbol on his chest, on the left side of his chest. He has a sash, a bandolier with some ninja stars on it, and he has a floating waist piece that you can move up and down. Just like the other Joes, he has a ball peg in his waist, so that's good. And if you look on his back, everything's really well detailed. The wrappings around his feet, around his ankles and shins are really well sculpted, and it's really detailed. So this figure is absolutely amazing. Again, one of my favorite Cobras. He has to be my favorite Cobra that exists. My number one. This figure has butterfly joints just like any other Joe that are actually really well. They work really well. If you kind of look, they kind of work really well. The snake eyes, the Alpha Commando snake eyes, the butterfly joints of that one don't really work too well, so this one's good. I like it. So, if you look, you have a hole in the back and a peg over here on the back of this quiver, so that way you can put this through that hole, and there's a little peg right here as well, where you can put his bow. You just attach it on like so. Alright, it doesn't want to go in. There we go. Fits just like that. And the arrow, there's a little crevice over here on his quiver where you can put the single arrow, and it just kind of sits there and floats there. So, we're going to put all this on him. Put the sword in. And he's carrying all of his accessories. So he's loaded with accessories, and he can carry them. So this is a really great figure for that. Really great. I'm really glad that I picked this up. So, the wrappings around his arms as well, his forearms are all actually really detailed as well. There's a slight wash on the wrappings on his calves and a slight wash on the wrappings over his forearms. So that's really nice. His hand here, his right hand, is an arrow holding hand. As you can see, he has his it's not a trigger finger. He has two fingers instead of the single one that we usually see with trigger fingers. So that's for holding his arrow and getting it ready to shoot. So that's nice. Whereas suppose this hand right here is just a trigger finger. So if you really wanted, you could give him guns. But, well, let's take a look. He has vertical hinges on both of his hands. So that's good for sword holding, sword wielding. So that's a really nice addition to this figure. So, now that we've taken a closer look at this figure, let's take a look at his articulation. He's a little back heavy because of all his accessories, but he can still hold. There we go. So let's take a look at the articulation. So for now, I'm just going to take off his back piece, his quiver, because it all just bunches together. So in his neck and head, he has a dumbbell joint, and it's kind of loose. It's a little bit. You can get a lot of movement out of it, but you can get him looking up this far. You can get him looking down this much, have his chin touch his chest. He can look side to side, no problem. And he has a decent amount of tilt. That's really great for a figure like this. I love it. He's going to need all the articulation you can get. And he can rotate his head around like this. He has articulation at the base of his neck. So, if you really wanted to, you could rotate that. And that goes. And together with that dumbbell joint at the top of his neck, you can get quite a bit of movement out of him. He has butterfly joints, which give you the ability to go in this far and out this far, so that's pretty decent. Okay, he has a hinge in his shoulder, which gives you more than 90 degrees. He can go forward, he can go back, no problem, all the way around 360, only getting hindered by that shoulder piece a little bit. Okay, he has a bicep cut, which gives you full 360 degree rotation. A double jointed pinless elbow, which gives you a little over 90 degrees. He has rotation at the top of his gauntlet, okay? So forearm articulation. And he has vertical hinge in his wrist, which gives you the ability to hinge up this far, hinge down this far, and rotate 360 degrees. He has an ab crunch, which gives you the ability to bend down this far. He can lean back this far. And he has a ball peg in his waist, which gives you a full amount of rotation, a decent amount, okay? Together with that ab crunch, he can go forward this much, he can go back this far, and he can go side to side if you wish. He has drop down hips, which give you the ability to do this. Well, he can do. All right. Yep, he can do the splits because he has drop down hips, so that's really nice. All right. He can kick forward this much. So that's really decent. Almost 90 degrees. He can kick back this much. And you can just insert his hips back to the original position. He has an upper thigh cut, which gives you both 360-degree rotation. A double jointed pinless knee, which together, utilizing both joints, he can almost kick his ass. He has a boot cut, which gives you full 360-degree rotation. And he has a hinge in his ankle, which gives you the ability to hinge back this far, hinge forward this far, and he has a forward-facing peg for a rocker. So that's nice. So, with all that articulation, you can get him into quite a few different poses. So, I love that in a figure. Articulation, I'm an articulation fiend. So, the more articulation, the better. So, let's put this back on his back. And get him standing back up. Again, like I said before, he's a little back heavy. So, you're going to have to lean him forward a little bit. So, now that we've taken a closer look at his articulation, let's take a look and see how he compares with other figures. Alright, so first we're going to take a look and see how Storm Shadow compares with a few other G.I. Joe figures. We have him standing next to Timber and Snake Eyes from the Alpha Commando 2-pack, and next to Sergeant Slaughter. Alright, next we're going to take a look and see how Storm Shadow stands next to a few of his Arashikage brothers. We have Snake Eyes from Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins, and Snake Eyes, the 02 version. Okay, here we have him standing next to a few Star Wars Black Series figures. We have him standing next to Cobb Vanth and the Deluxe Boba Fett from the Retro card. Alright, so now we have Storm Shadow standing next to a few other sword-wielding mercenaries. We have The Curse of the White Knight, Azrael by McFarlane, and the McFarlane DC Rebirth Deathstroke. Okay, here we have them standing next to a few martial arts masters. We have the retro-carded Marvel Legends Daredevil, and Elektra from the Daredevil Man Without Fear 3-pack. Alright, so here we have him standing next to a few He-Man figures. These are the New Eternia He-Man and the 40th Anniversary He-Man. Both sword-wielding masters. And now we have him standing next to the McFarlane DC Rebirth Batman and the McFarlane Tim Drake Robin. So, I think that's going to be about it for today. Thanks for joining me in another episode of Action Figure This Out, where we took a look at the Hasbro G.I. Joe Classified Series Storm Shadow, figure number 35. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe if you'd like to see more reviews of your favorite action figures. As well, don't hesitate to leave a comment. We'd love to hear from you. Let me know what your favorite Cobra is, and what's your favorite version of Storm Shadow. Again, this is Herrick with Action Figure This Out, signing off.